Hey Tamaki, that quirk of yours is pretty impressive. Allow me to see that, and it's gone! I have to admit, when I first read the chapter, I thought it was just a decent chapter. Rereading it again, I thought it was pretty entertaining with shift tone atmosphere between heroes and villains showcasing Tamaki's quirk, if it remains there that is, and more promises to showcase more of his side characters in the future. My thoughts on the villains aspect remain the same, enticing and couple of interesting elements. The tone is such a polar opposite from the hero side that it almost feels like you reading a different manga altogether. That said, it certainly increased the excitement for the arc. I really like the sit down between Shigaraki and Overhaul. None of them managed to outshine another. They have their own stature that cannot be matched. Shigaraki didn't show up and act like he's the little man. Instead, he comes off as a boss that won't tolerate with a wannabe. This is what a villain needs to be like, and this series continues to impress me. One of the best part is when Shigaraki casually sits down and practically makes self at home. I just like how he doesn't feel one bit of intimidated by Overhaul and his men. It is moment like this makes you feel awed by their presence. Shigaraki is in for teaming up, but only for an equal balance. No one higher than another. An interesting bit is when Shigaraki was going to present something until two of Overhaul's men immediately came after him, ready to kill him. Mimic is an interesting little guy, I think, because his arm out of nowhere becomes large as Juggernaut. No idea what's that about, but it piqued my interest. Chronostasis is basically Overhaul's right hand man. I wonder what he has to offer. It does feel like a comic book with its focus on deactivating the quirks plan. How many times you have seen that from a comic book or any rendition based on it? I don't know if this is the mangaka intention, but it works here. Shigaraki becomes interested with the bullet that was shot at Compress. It tells you that the arc is going to be highly focusing on deactivating quirks. Let's hope it's not as disappointing as The Last Stand. Once we go back to the hero side, it's night and day in tone shift. Not trying to make a pun here. Anyway, admittedly, I was spoiled by the villain side, so I didn't take it fair with shifting back to hero side. Fortunately, after reading again, I like this moment just as much in a different light. I like the dynamic that the mangaka is presenting with Kirishima, or Red Riot should I say, and the other two new heroes. Fat Gum, yes, that's his name, is what you think when you read Fat. His design is funny to look at, though I like how he is a near polar opposite of Tamaki. Tamaki, let's talk about him. He's a hero who is overly sensitive. It begs the question if he's really the big three. No matter how nice you would say it to him, he always takes it negative. Even if it's like the greatest compliment in the universe, he would still mope around like someone stole his happiness, whatever that was. Hell, after a cool display of his action, he, the senior, asked the learner if he did well. What kind of guy is he? That all said, with Kirishima in the mix, it makes a fun dynamic. As for Tamaki's quirk, reappearance is pretty creative and comical from the mangaka. Whatever he eats, his body manifests the characteristic of things. So if he eats fried chicken from KFC, he can grow wings. If he eats takoyaki, he can use tentacles. It's even better that he can use them at the same time. I like how the mangaka manages to pull something fresh and something that One Piece would do. Something that sounds silly, yet it can be presented in a cool way. The shifting tone of atmospheres has their own ways to immerse you to their scenery in a pleasant way. The villains are always dark yet captivating to watch the sinister in motion. It also helps with a different tone of dialogue, separating deeply from the heroes. As for the heroes, it's more lighthearted and comforting, which is good to have. You can appreciate the solid visual more for capturing the right sensation. When you mix the two, that's where it gets hectic, wishing you can go back to the positive. I like how one person in the crowd ends up firing his gun at them. It has that sense of realism in a way, which is eerie to even say. The one part that threw me off is Tamaki getting shot. resulting in losing his quirk, at least according to Shigaraki. I don't know if he truly has, but if he does lose it, that's disappointing. It's too soon and a letdown to denounce the dynamic this early. It is early to say, because something else could come up, but right now, it's an odd feeling. Krishna, on the other hand, has a hard head, so it deflected the bullet. Lucky him. It's time for him to shine. It's a mixed feeling ending that leans towards on the positive side, since it's great to see Krishna to get more shiny moments. It looks promising to see more actions and developments from these characters. The chapter is pretty entertaining with its light and dark nature. The villains continue to be interesting. There's some fun to behold with the heroes, and the ending that may look bad at first, but in due time, we'll see if it's the right choice in writing. Either way, the arc is looking really promising. I'm giving this chapter an 8. Maybe because it was the last scene that threw me off, that I was thinking the chapter wasn't as great. I just thought it was going to be decent, but rereading again and understanding the dynamics as well as the writing itself, I actually enjoyed this a lot more than my first impression. I liked these dynamic between these characters from the good and the bad side. What are your thoughts of this chapter? Did Tamaki really lose his quirk? Is it over for Tamaki? Is there a cure to it? Is it permanent, this so-called anti-quirk? I don't know, because I don't recall them saying that it does deactivate them. I think the chapter tried to play off that it's a permanent thing, but perhaps Overhaul might say it only lasts for this long or this short, whatever it may be. We have to wait and see. But if it is permanent, that's too soon. Maybe Tamaki has something up his sleeve when he got shot. We have to wait and see after Krishna shines. And that will do it for today's review. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you like this and want more of this, subscribe to my channel, and my world will be yours to stay. Until next time, take care.